Guys, good to be with you. Tony Katz. This is just the everyday Oliva V or Oliva. But as the torpedo, you got to love that. And this, bam, that is known as the Einheit from the good people at Von Riest, Flederman Von Riest. That's where you go to get your watch fixed. Use promo code CATS. Get your discount. I am Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today, and we've got a radio show that's about to join us. Let's get started. U.S. and Russian officials will meet in Saudi Arabia. How did Saudi Arabia become like this? The Geneva of Ukraine talks. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. All I know is that's where the gathering will be. Because they may want a peace deal. I mean, well, the U.S. definitely wants a peace deal. Ukrainians clearly want a peace deal. The Russians, I don't know. Because as they're talking about peace deals, they are launching drones all over Ukraine. Moscow says it intercepted nearly 30 drones launched by Ukraine. Russia launched 100 drones at Ukraine overnight. I do not believe the Russians at all in any way. I'm not saying that I'm so much a believer in Zelensky. I'm saying before they have to stop, it's very obvious that the plan is to kill as many as possible. Do as much damage as possible. That's the argument here. It's clear as day. Tony Katz today. So good to be with you. Find everything over at TonyKatz.com. That wasn't actually my top story today. No, my top story is a little stranger than that. My top story involves this guy by the name of Norm Eisen. I do not know who Norm Eisen is at all, except I've seen him on cable news, and he has got an outrageously large face. I'm just trying to describe him. His face starts at his hairline and ends at your feet. It is an outrageously long face. Why the long face? Norm Eisen. That's all. Hey, you can't do anything about it. It's just I'm trying to describe him. And I'm like, where have I seen him before? And I realized that this is the guy who is now doing the podcast, creating this whole new site with Jennifer Rubin. Remember, she left the Washington Post because, I don't know, she leaves places and she's fighting against Trump and she's gonna help us all. Lord only knows what. I honestly can't figure it out. I'm not here to try. Well, he is on the show because Trump continues to pull security clearances. And this was his response as to why his and others were taken away.
So also late last week, the president moved to revoke security clearances of another round of high-profile people, including the Biden family, Kamala Harris, the former Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, and you, Norm. What was your reaction when you heard about this, and why do you think it's happened? How does it impact you?
Kate, it's the third time that Trump and his people have revoked my security clearance. They announced it several weeks ago. Then they announced it again. Then they did it on Thursday. You have to wonder, is Trump like taking my security clearance away and then turning it back on so he can take it away again? Kate, the reason he's doing it is because he's losing. We've filed or helped on more than 24 lawsuits against Donald Trump at my organization, State Democracy Defenders Fund. We've had a series of big wins, protecting 6,000 FBI agents from being targeted by him, getting 20,000 federal employees who were wrongly fired rehired. We just got Doge and Musk declared unconstitutional for the work that they did tearing down USAID, many, many more things. It's petty retaliation. He'll probably take it away a fourth time this week. I couldn't care less. I'm just going to sue him even more.
Sounds like a nice guy. The former ethics czar for the White House. It's ethical to say, I don't like the president, so I'm going to sue him for everything he's worth. I'm going to sue him to stop him from doing this, sue him to stop him from doing that, sue him from stopping doing the other. These people don't believe in democracy, and I will get more into that. I should say they don't believe in the republic, nor do they believe in the rule of law. They believe in the rule of man. But again, will get discussed. I want to discuss the idea of revoking these security clearances on Biden, on this guy, on Kamala Harris, on this one, on that one. And the answer is okay. The reason it makes sense, the reason I think it's worthwhile, is that these people are not people focused on the rule of law. They are focused on the rule of man. They are focused on their emotions, and their emotions taking charge. Emotional people in charge have led to the disintegration of the institutions. Every single thing goes back to what is the purpose of the institution? Does it exist to help the citizenry, or does it exist to ensure the institution remains? The purpose of these people having these clearances is because they may have been involved in this case or that case or a whole bunch of things. And so if something should come up regarding this case or that case, they can say, well, we actually worked on that, and here's what happened here. It's a way of ensuring institutional knowledge. Now, institutional knowledge is outrageously important, is incredibly valuable. This is no better seen, and no place better seen than with nurses. Institutional knowledge in nursing, institutional knowledge in hospitals saves lives. It lessens the time between what is wrong and what the doctor will need. It lessens time between what presents and what test gets ordered. It lessens time between the test result and the next action. Institutional knowledge explains why these bandages get put here, but these medicines get put here. And that has to do with a level of effectiveness and efficacy about what you reach for, what you grab, what usually connects with what, and what allows you that second, those 2 seconds, those 5 seconds. Well, institutional knowledge with nurses. I mean, we can just discuss if you have a nurse with 30 years of experience. You are now teaching nurses things to look for, other things to check on, if X and Y, then look for this thing, and that could mean this. And your ability to communicate that with a doctor can lead to lives being saved. 30-year nurse also knows the paperwork and the bureaucracy and how to move past some of it. They understand the doctors and when you have to press a doctor, when you got to push back. And as most doctors will tell you, try not to screw with the nurses. Try not to. They do things that you need done. So how about don't be a jerk face? That's true. But when you get rid of that nurse for, let's say, not taking a COVID vaccine, you don't just get rid of a nurse. You take all of that institutional knowledge with you. And what happens? The nurses who are there, who are still good people and kind people and decent people and all that jazz, I'm not saying a thing negative about them. They don't have anybody they can go to, so they have to work it through, and that working it through takes time, and that working it through makes mistakes, and time and mistakes lead to deaths. Without institutional knowledge, you have more deaths. This is just the nature of the beast. Institutional knowledge matters. But what happens when the knowledge being passed isn't about what betters the society, but what betters the institution? That's Norm Eisen. That's Hillary Clinton. That is name the people who have had their security clearances revoked. They did not favor those few seconds to save lives. They favored those seconds to save institution. Wipe your hands of that crap. You don't need these people. You don't need to give them anything. They have nothing they can provide. The only institutional knowledge they have is how to ensure the institution and destroy those they disagree with. It is not about the American people. It is not about the American citizen. Look at Norm Eisen, thrilled with all his lawsuits. The president isn't in charge of immigration policy? Of course he is. Norm Eisen isn't. His lawsuit should be thrown out if that's what they're about. He can't fire people in the FBI? Of course he can. None of them are guaranteed a job. None of them. And if there are so many rules and regulations about firing government employees, then we need to work overtime in election after election to ensure we elect the people to put an end to those rules, because no job is forever, FBI agent or Department of Education worker, or name the person. Not a one. Hey, State Department lawyers, you don't have a job for forever. We don't actually care that you're lawyers. As a matter of fact, we think being lawyers makes you jerky, awful, terrible people. If you were real people, you would have done something with your life. That's a pretty harsh thing to say, Tony. That's a pretty harsh thing to say. But if they believe they can create this cocoon around them, whether it's in the State Department or anyplace else, that says they can never be fired, no. Screw them. I cannot wait to see the lawsuits that come my way. I'm just saying you're not guaranteed a job. You're not. And if Trump decides to fire, if Kash Patel decides to fire 6,000 FBI agents, well, that's fine. How is that remotely an issue? It's not. Oh, speaking of Kash Patel.
What I want to do is highlight for the American public that there's 38,000 employees at the FBI. If you take the national capital region, as the folks around Washington, D.C. call it, the 50-mile radius around Washington, D.C., we have 11,000 employees for the FBI in that 50-mile radius, give or take. And a third of the crime does not happen in this region. A large portion of one of my priorities, fighting violent crime, crushing narco traffickers, stopping fentanyl overdoses, is happening in any town USA across this country. And they need resources in the form not just of money, but manpower. So we're going to reorient our assets in Washington. We're going to look at it strategically, as we've been doing the last month, and send our agents and analysts and SOS operatives into the field to take on this violent crime explosion that has occurred over these last 4 or 5 years, and to make sure that every state and every county, be it in my hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada, or up in Montana or in Kansas or Iowa or Maine, is all safe and secure. And the best way to do that is through a proper show of force with the FBI men and women who just do this job so courageously every day out in the streets fighting crime.
Now, that is Kash Patel saying, we got too many people in the home office. Get out into the field and do some work. Right? Go. According to Norm Eisen, can he do that? Is he allowed to decide where these people work? No, I don't care if you live here. Go. You need to be working somewhere in Alabama, Birmingham area. And you need to be working somewhere near Tulsa. And you get yourself over to Memphis. And can he do that? It is the same exact conversation. Norm Eisen says Trump can't fire people. Of course he can. Can the FBI director, Kash Patel, direct where you work? We no longer do this here. We do it out there. Well, no, you can't just move me. I have a family here and a house, and we're now getting into it. And really where the pushback has to come from. The president can fire whom the president chooses to fire. Kash Patel can decide where people work. And no one's guaranteed a job, and you're not guaranteed that it's going to be in the same place. You're not. No government worker is or should ever think they are. And if institutions have been built to protect them in that way, then it's only more proof that the institution exists only for the sake of the institution and has to go. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Guys, what's going on? Now, to answer your question there, good to see everybody. Welcome. How are you? No, we did not get a divorce, WIBC. WIBC is my home station in Indianapolis. So the morning show I do, 6 to 9 a.m., is a WIBC show owned by WIBC. The midday show I do, the syndicated show, has a much different ownership group. Is that the right way to say it? And so I run my own stream. Thus, why you see the live stream on the midday show different than the morning show. Now, the midday show does stream to the WIBC Facebook page. I could stream it to like everybody's page. That wouldn't bother me any. But I really want to bring people, and it's so weird. Like, I have zero against Rumble. Rumble, fine people, and they're doing well. But I have had better results here. I've had better luck here. I've had less response results over at Rumble. I don't know why that is. It just is. Maybe that'll change someday in the future. But I no issue with them. We do have subscribers over there and everything else. It's just, I don't know. It never really flowed. This seems to be flowing. I actually think the whole show should just be on X and be done with it. Like, that should be the platform. And Sarah and I are still trying to figure that out. Sarah runs all the digital. Like, it should just go to X. That's it. That's what we do. We're just on X. Everybody's on X. We're just on X. But there are some people on Facebook and there are some people on YouTube. So, okay. And then I stream it to LinkedIn. And which I don't know why I do that. I have no idea why I did. That's Sarah waving to everybody. Hey, how are you? But I do, and I must be like, hey, we're trying to conduct business here, and all of a sudden here's Kat smoking a cigar and the political, and oh well, what are you gonna do? And then there's Christopher, who no, that's not Christopher. Doesn't utilize social media. Well, that's again a reason for the YouTubes. It is. I don't know. So we do it this way. I'm never sure which is the right way. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. Make sure you do this. And the nurses are agreeing with me about the idea of institutional knowledge. Just a fact. Just a fact. That's all. Let me get ready for what is next here. Let me get that going and together. Yeah, the cough is better. Thank you, Wendy. It still exists a little bit. Usually after I eat something. So I did do that. So that could explain it. I've got this story right here. And I've got this on Social Security, which was an interesting take. Howard Lutnick. See, now I'm coughing. Look what you did to me, Wendy. Look what you did. Coming back to the show, I have got coffee, I have got Diet Coke, and I have water. No bourbon. There's a show to be done.
No one's ever been fired, ever, for sending money to the wrong place. People send it on purpose. I'm not saying everybody sends it on purpose. I'm saying there are some people who send it on purpose. Yeah. Some people who are complete morons, and an enormous number of people who work for the government who are awesome. I mean, amazing people, right? But what percentage? Okay, if there's 5.9 million people who work for the government, you're like, Wow. That's like so many. And we're paying them all. And how many do you really need? I mean, if the answer is 2 million, wow. And we could talk about how we understand it and how we're going to retrain society for the AI industrial revolution is coming, which is going to create the greatest set of jobs and greatest set of growth ever. Okay. But then we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But the key is stop sending money to the wrong place so we can make sure we can always defend sending money to the right place. I would never allow, if I can stand it, to not pay somebody who retired at 65 their benefits.
Yeah,
I find it disgusting when we're the richest country in the world and some politician says, in order to save Social Security, rather than getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, we should move it to 70.
Yeah.
How about no? How about we're rich enough to give people the benefit of the bargain
Yeah.
of being a great American? But
I must admit, it's a very interesting thought from Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary there. Why is it that we say that we have to up the retirement age? Can't we just get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse? Can't we do more on that? And then we'd free up the dollars. Do we have to hire all these people? I think that is a really interesting point. Tony Katz today. I think it's an excellent argument, but it is incomplete. And the part that is incomplete is that Social Security in and of itself is a terrible bargain and simply cannot be sustained. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everyone's afraid to talk about it, but it is. I do not consider Social Security in my life. With my a financial persons, I think that we should take that out of the calculation. I certainly never consider it, because very often when people build a plan, they build a strategy, and et cetera, that gets put in there. I think you need to take it out. Why would I assume that it's going to exist? Why should I assume that it's something that can be relied on? Well, Tony, you paid into it. It cannot be sustained. It cannot move down the line. How many more times do we have to say this? When do we grow up? Well, Tony, we promised it to our country's seniors, and there's always a new senior. What was created was a boondoggle that has no end in sight because grown-ups aren't willing to do the hard work. This doesn't work. Stop doing things that don't work. Lutnick's point, I think, is a good one and certainly worthy of a conversation. Why do we discuss raising the retirement age when instead we should be looking at the fraud and abuse, get rid of that, and then we don't have to raise the retirement age? Because in the end, it still doesn't work. And I am not arguing against getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. I am arguing against the idea that somehow it must be forever. This plan, this program, it doesn't, it cannot, it isn't something that is, what's the best word? It can't go on like this. It just can't. I think as a society, we should be asking that question and making the hard decisions now. This is Tony Katz today. Hey, welcome back. Good to be with you. Um, just trying to get everything together. Who bought a car from Andy Moore? I saw that, right? Did I see that in did I just see that in the comments? Andy Moore Ford is a sponsor of my morning show. And I swear to you, I thought I just saw it. I'm scrolling back. Ah, look, that's Jeff. Went to Andy Moore Nissan. Oh, they're lovely people. Oh, the Kicks. It's a fun little car. Well, thank you. Look at that. You know what that means? Every time you mention my name and Andy Moore, Ford or Nissan, I get a free bowl of soup. I don't get a free bowl of soup. I'm compensated for the work that I do, and there it is. Well, mazel tov, man. Good on you. Oh, I will get into a whole car thing. I will get. I'll bring it up later. I'll bring it up later on the radio show. I don't know if it'll make the live stream, but I'll bring it up later. Basically, the question is Corvette, Camaro, or Mustang, and I'll explain why I'm bringing it up. It has to do with my kid who wants to learn about cars, and I'm like, that's great, but I do not have a car that you can mess around on. So let's get you a mess around car that you could do, like not too much money. And they're like, yeah, but I'd really like a Corvette. And I said, you should really like a job. And then it was, well, what about a Camaro? Like, I'm cool with the Camaro. What about a Mustang? They're cool with the Mustang. So, all right. Used. Body okay. Everything else you can work on. Corvette, Camaro, or Mustang. It's time to play America's favorite game. Corvette, Camaro, or Mustang. Coming back to the show, guys. Let's go to it. Hands off. Look at it. Look at it. It's a website, people. And it's a website that clearly involves absolutely zero grassroots. This is so astroturfed, I've already hurt my toe by looking at it. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. What in the bloody heck of all hecks is a hands off? I'm happy to help. Hands off is a national day of action. Saturday, April 5th, to oppose Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I guess this means hands off your Tesla while we set it on fire. I assume that's what it means. The website has this kind of pixelated image of Trump yelling and Elon looking like he's stoned and just saw a lost puppy. Right? And it says Donald Trump and Elon Musk think this country belongs to them. They're taking everything they can get their hands on and daring the world to stop them. On Saturday, April 5th, we're taking to the streets nationwide to fight back with a clear message. Hands off. I assume that's the way they sound. I don't know. I'm not allowing them into my house ever because I have standards. And for them, not a big enough basement. But this is what they're doing. They're going to get together and you can get a host toolkit and you can host an event. You can find an event. And then they've got all these dots. They got all these dots for all these events. Look at all these things happening. A bunch in California and up the West Coast. A bunch in New York and the East Coast. Oh, Florida. Oh, look, there's Tennessee, a couple in Tennessee. And there's one in Missouri. Oklahoma. There you are, Oklahoma. I see you. Okay, there's OKC. And there's Tulsa. Tulsa fights back. This one is at 71st and Memorial in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's Saturday, April 5th. And then Here's one in Jackson, Tennessee. The event address is private. You have to sign up for it. Is there one in my beloved? Oh, there is one in Indianapolis. My beloved Indianapolis. Remove, reverse, reclaim. Well, these people are going to be violent, aren't they? Of course they are. It's not even a question if they're going to be violent. Of course they are. They already have been. In order to engage this conversation properly, and remember, the issue here is not about protest. You do you, kitten. You want to engage in peaceful protest, knock yourself out. But these people aren't engaged in peaceful protest. They've never been engaged in peaceful protest. When you are burning Teslas, keying Teslas, destroying Teslas, throwing Molotov cocktails at Teslas, when you're trying to grab the Make America Great Again hat off of someone's head, when you're destroying people's signs and banners, when you're intimidating, it's not peaceful. Well, what about January 6th? What about January 6th? If January 6th was so terrible, why would you do anything like it? Wouldn't you want it to just stop? And you're talking to the guy who said that it was a riot, not an insurrection. Talking to the guy that said there are some people on January 6th who should be in jail and would never have done the blanket pardons. Certainly believed in pardoning the people who were being abused by the system. Because if you're okay with people, American citizens, not getting due process, if you're okay with American citizens not being able to see their lawyers, not being able to get medical care because you don't like what they did on January 6th, well, to hell with those people. Why in the world would we talk to those people? They are wrong. And yes, you pardon those people because they're being abused by their government, and you can't allow that. Again, the rule of law over the rule of man every single time and in every single way. I had put out a post about my event on April 17th. Trump, an American reset in 3 bourbons. You've heard me talking about this. People are coming. We're selling tickets, tickets.tonykatz.com, tickets.tonykatz.com. We're going to be looking back at Trump's first 100 days. Right? We're going to take a look at Trump's first 100 days, compare it to other 100 days in American history. We're going to drink some great bourbon, some fantastic barbecue from Big Hoffa's Barbecue, one of the top 100 barbecue places in America. We're going to be smoking cigars. I have great sponsors for this, laserpmc.com, incredibly cool people, Laser Precision Marksmanship Club, and the people at Flederman Von Riest, the watch people whom I work with, and their brand ambassador, vonriest.com. And so it's going to be a terrific night, a lot of laughs, a great time. And so I posted this graphic. And the graphic was of Trump, and it said you should hang with Tony on April 17th. Believe me, right? It was a playoff on Trump, and this guy responds by saying, "I agree that all of you MAGA folk should hang with Tony Katz." That is the tweet. All you MAGA fascists absolutely should hang with Tony. Get it? Hanged, right? You should die. You should be killed. When I responded, the tolerant left, he responded, "We don't tolerate Nazis." I've got the post there at tonykatz.com because this was only one thing that happened over the weekend. The other thing that happened over the weekend, here we go, is it a death threat? Hey, man. Well, I should set it up. I've been talking about this story in Indianapolis about a place called the Chatterbox, which is a bar, the transgender bartender, two people come in wearing Make America Great Again hats. The video shows the bartender throwing them out specifically because they're Trump supporters. And then when they're asking questions like, why do we have to leave? The bartender grabs a baseball bat. It's an act of intimidation. You can call it violence. I've been discussing this. The whole city, no one says anything. The mayor doesn't say anything. The town council, they reported it for one day, and they reported the owners saying this couple, these two people came in and they were verbally assaulting the bartender, misgendering, and it was vile. Misgendering's not vile. Threatening somebody with a baseball bat, more vile. Misgendering isn't even a thing. Good gosh, these people are dangerous, trying to manipulate language, grabbing baseball bats. And somehow this menacing goes untouched by the mayor, by the chief of police, by the prosecutor, county prosecutor, by the city county council, everyone. Somebody writes me and goes, hey, man, STFU, you know what STFU means. And keep your opinions to yourself about indie businesses, or maybe you'll be seeing some bats in your future. And then he calls me a something hole. Blank Trump America, blank anyone who supports him, blank you. No, seriously, go kill yourself. I don't usually get death threats. I seem to avoid it. And I think it comes from being pretty normal. I'm not, I can raise my voice, but I'm not a screamer, not a yeller. I don't get involved in the low stuff. I'm trying to have a conversation here that's about thoughts and ideas and theories. And I apologize to no one for that. So to answer just the questions, I don't plan on being quiet on any subject I want to talk about. I'm certainly not going to go kill myself. And if you want to threaten me with baseball bats, I'm not sure. Do I take that to the authorities? What do? They used a fake email address and all that jazz and they decided insult the guy's mother. That's the way to do it. So fake email address, insulting my mother, threatening me with baseball bats. All I know is in this world, avail yourself of the Second Amendment. Buy guns, buy ammo, get trained. That's a standard refrain. But you go back to this hands-off rally. And you say to yourself, do you think this is going to be something that's just sweet? On April 5th, we rise up. They're dismantling our country. They're looting our government. And they think we'll just watch. If the spending gets cut, the money is yours. Who's looting it? The point is, it's been looted for decades, and now we want to put a stop to the looting, and here you are, PO'd that we want to stop the looting from happening. That's weird. This is a nationwide mobilization to stop the most brazen power grab in modern history. Trump, Musk, and their billionaire cronies are orchestrating an all-out assault on our government, our economy, and our basic rights, enabled by Congress every step of the way. So wait a second. Are they oligarchs? Or is this the republic working as intended? We elected a president. We've got a Congress. Legislation is getting through, signed by the president. They're working in tandem because 77 million people voted for them. What's the issue? Oh, that's right. The issue is you lost. That's the issue. You lost. And you're having trouble with that. By the way, why is it that our billionaire cronies are the problem, but your billionaire cronies are just fine? Pritzker, Oprah, Cuban, George Soros, that's fine. We've got Elon and Sheldon Adelson's widow, and the next thing you know, it's the worst thing in history. If we don't fight now, they write, there won't be anything left to save. You notice how they're talking and fighting. They're handing trillions to billionaires while forcing the rest of us to pay higher prices for food, rent, and health care. Where were you during the Biden administration? We understand the answer. We understand the answer. Across the country, thousands of people will march, rally, disrupt, and demand an end to this billionaire power grab. We'll show up at state capitals, federal buildings, congressional offices, and city centers, anywhere we can make sure they hear us. And then the best, a core principle behind hands off is a commitment to nonviolent action. We expect all participants to seek to de-escalate any potential confrontation with those who disagree with our values. Sure. Listen, you want to have yourselves a rally all across the country and be nonviolent? First Amendment's yours too. Go get them. Go get them. But you haven't shown yourselves to be nonviolent yet. Maybe you can explain to me why somebody wants to come at me with a baseball bat for noticing somebody else going at someone with a baseball bat. Until then, I'm going to keep my head on a swivel and be well prepared. And we'll watch and see whether or not these rallies take place and what buildings are left standing, or will CNN call them mostly peaceful as they burn. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Guys, welcome back. I'm reading your comments right here. Most of you are Camaro folk. Most of you are Camaro folk. Can I deal with a? See, I shouldn't give them any. I shouldn't. So I won't. People are super weird. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to deal with the crazy people. No sense in doing that. No win. I'm on Newsmax later tonight, Newsmax 2. It's interesting how they do it over there. It really is. How the 2 is free, and Newsmax is if you have the cable side, and kind of fascinating. Like you're creating your own competition, right? I just find it interesting the way they do it. So the vast majority of you in the conversation of Corvette, Camaro, or Mustang are Camaro. Why? Kid wants a car they can work on, right? So I'm thinking of buying something pretty old or older. The Mustangs are the least expensive, then Camaros, then Corvettes. Also, the problem with the Corvette, even though I go into the 90s, I absolutely cannot get into one. Or I can get into one, but I'm going to be buried in it because there's no way I'm getting out. There's no way. Can't get out of one of these things. Have you met me? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm hot, but I'm a big guy. It's not happening. Good Lord. But why the Camaro? And I'm not opposed to the Camaro, mind you. I'm just curious as to why the Camaro. Hold on a second. Where in the world is that story? Did I send it later? There it is. I knew I had it. I knew it. Sarah, you do not have a 1990 Fox body. You do not. Is that... We're going to have to talk, Sarah. All right, let's go. Snow White is a complete and total unmitigated disaster. We knew this was coming. And Robert De Niro, he did not fare much better. Then again, I did not know that Robert De Niro had a new movie coming out. Tony Katz today. What's going on, everybody? Good to be with you. Snow White, $43 million opening weekend. And on Friday, the opening of this live action version of Snow White with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, $16 million. That's Teleber. I was going to say horrible and terrible, and it came out as Teleber. Hold on. Let's just check. Tony, are you having a stroke on air? No, you're not. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You know, you're talking to yourself. Yeah, but that happens all the time. So you're fine? I'm great. Terrific. Let's keep talking. Okay. Wow. $16 million. That is not good. And this is all Rachel Zegler's fault. All of it. All of it. Because she's like, oh, Snow White's a terrible story, and you don't need no man, and I'm so woke, and I'm so this, and just smile, play the ingenue, and let Gal Gadot do the heavy lifting. I mean, she's Wonder Woman after all. Couldn't do that. $250 million to make this. It's not going to make its money back. $45 million in the first weekend, and things fall precipitously from there. Competition comes out. This is bad stuff. Now, if you take a look at what they did with Mufasa the Lion King, it had a smaller opening, but it did make $250 million in North America, over $700 million worldwide. Meanwhile, De Niro has a film out called The Alto Nights. It cost $45 million to make. It brought in $1.1 million on Friday. Well then, this is Tony Katz today. Yeah, I'm fine, by the way. I'm fine. I don't smell toast. I'm totally good. I am fantastic. So we're going to take the break right now. We're in radio break, so we're going to take the break here. When we come back, I will tell the Bill Maher story. He is learning in real time, and then the passing of Mia Love. I will get into that as well. I'm glad you guys are here. Smoke them if you got them. Got a lot to get to. We are far from done. We'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, I just stopped the music cold. Usually I just like fade it out or do something, all sweet and kind like that. Yeah, it didn't happen today. It didn't. Guys, Tony Katz, good to be with you. Tony Katz today. So in this conversation of Corvette, Camaro, Mustang, I was sending some people, some of the things I was looking at for my kid to learn how to fix and modify and do things like that. So I sent it, and one of the responses was, why a V6? Why not a V8? And the answer is, I make radio money. A V8. It was a Mustang that I was looking at. It's to practice. It's to learn. But yeah, if the kid wants to go to a junkyard and find a V8 engine and switch it out and knock yourself out, go be proactive. Go learn. Why not a V8? Buy my kid an IROC Z. First of all, somebody went to high school with me. Jersey. Jersey with an IROC. Those were the days. I did not own an IROC. My first car was a Mercury Topaz. Mercury Topaz. Whoa, 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 ladies. One at a time, please. I know you're all lined up because the car is so hot, but there's only so much of me to go around. All right? All right. 2 in the back seat. I can take care of that. No problem. No problem. Everybody else, just wait. I'm sorry. What were we talking about? The Mercury Topaz. Nothing said who wants to get pregnant like a Mercury Topaz. It was a fine first car. Okay, you see, all you people, a V6 Mustang is blasphemy. Your mother's blasphemy. That's wrong. I apologize. Chad, you didn't deserve. I know it was a burn landed, but you didn't deserve that, and I apologize. But I mean, like, it's a knock around. It's to learn on. Really? Don't tell me that this is what I got to do, because I would be totally susceptible to doing that. Because I'm going to have fun with it too. I am. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Gonna be fantastic. Let me load up some audio right here, if you don't mind. 30 seconds heard. We're coming back to the radio show. Bill Maher is the story. My name is Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Yes, sponsorships are now available, as you can see. You can even have this spot right here. I will move the TK logo, and your ad can go right there. We could also put one here. We can have one here. Maybe down here. We can put one here. We can. Or here. Just reach out. Reach out to Sarah right now, and she'll take care of it. Or she'll say, hey, these people are interested. What do you want to do? And then I'll take care of it. That's really what's going to happen. All right, let's do a radio show. Learning in real time, which is interesting because Bill Maher's show is real time with Bill Maher. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. 833-468-8669. 833. Got Tony. That's the number. That's how you get to be a part of the show. European countries updating travel advisories for transgender travelers seeking to enter the United States because President Trump has put out an executive order saying there are 2 sexes. Thank you. Good night. Finland, Denmark, the UK, and Germany urging cautionary planning for transgender people when traveling to the U.S. When applying for an ESTA or visa to the United States, there are 2 gender designations to choose from, male or female. The ESTA is the electronic system for travel authorization, screening passengers before they travel to the U.S. under what is known as the Visa Waiver Program. If you have the gender designation X in your passport, or you have changed your gender, it is recommended that you contact the U.S. Embassy prior to travel for guidance on how to proceed. I am okay with this level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Rationality, if only it is exposing the irrationality of others. The playing in, the buying in to this illness of gender dysphoria and how worldwide it has gone. you understand as well as I do that things don't usually move in that kind of way. They don't spread with that kind of strength. But when its purpose is destabilization, well, then it does. Because the people who want to destabilize will immediately glom onto it. And then quite violently, they will push to make this move in their favor and try to silence those who disagree. I bring the story up because there are things going on and I want to give you an update, but the Bill Maher story is about learning from these mistakes. I have never met Bill Maher. Man, I would love to do his show. Sarah, we should pitch me as a guest and see if that could happen. Because the first thing I would do upon meeting Bill Maher is apologize to him. No, we disagree politically, and that's fine. Years ago, I did a show with PJ Media when they had something called PJ TV. This was years and years ago. It was a precursor. It could have been something, and they never turned the corner. And I had a show, and I forget even what Bill Maher was talking about, something I disagreed with. And so I decided on this show, where maybe a grand total of 0 people were watching, I'm screaming at Bill Maher. I'm screaming at Bill Maher. I don't remember the subject. Why in the world was I screaming at Bill Maher? What was the point of that? Was I going to get through to somebody? Was it going to be something people wanted to hear? It wasn't just an ear sore. It was going to show me as what? A real reasoned and well thought out guy? And if he had heard it, would he have even wanted to talk to me? What was the point of that? What was I going to get? What was the value of it? And it's why, as I do the show, and differently than other people, I don't do those things because there's no value. There's nothing there. It's a crappy garbage way to live, and I don't want it. And even though he never heard it, he never heard it, I'd apologize to him for doing that. He didn't deserve that. We just disagree. Right? There are some people I would never talk to. He's not one of them. He is learning that you have to talk to people. You have to talk to people, even the ones you disagree with. And you have to understand that it is this progressive party that doesn't want any conversation. Let's go back to a story. This happened with Mark Duplass and Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you remember this or not. Mark Duplass is an actor and a producer. He was on the show The League, which was very, very funny. Very funny. And I guess he had been having conversations with Shapiro, and the political left shut him down. Vilified him for talking. Now, you've heard stories like this before. Do you remember when Trump was running for president the first time, and of course Ted Cruz was running against him, and there were a couple of hotel owners, 2 hotel owners, who met with Ted Cruz in Manhattan. They owned a hotel in Long Island. They were gay. They met with Ted Cruz. The gay community, I don't know how big a gay community is, so vilified these guys and canceled events at their hotels and were boycotting the hotels, they had to beg for forgiveness. Ted Cruz could have been the next president of the United States. They were able to have a sit down and talk about the things they thought were important. What could be better than that? They had to beg for forgiveness. This is not a party that believes in conversation, because they believe that conversation humanizes, or recognize, I should say, not believes, recognizes the conversation humanizes. And you can't humanize the political right to the political left, which is why they call us what? Nazis. It's dismissive. inhuman. You can then do anything you want to them. Yeah, they're Nazis. Thus, you get the expression punch a Nazi. They are who they are. And they show you in every way. Everything about them is the projection of what they say others are doing, they're doing. So Bill Maher has these conversations, and first is on his podcast, which is called Club Random. By the way, Sarah, who runs all our digital, asked me if I was gonna go, if I got booked, would I smoke a J with Bill Maher? And the answer is no, but I'd bring cigars with me. So that would have to do. Anyway, he's talking with, I think it's Andrew Schultz, and he's talking about going to talk with Trump.
Kid Rock was here a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I want you to meet Trump. He said, I'm going to take you to the White House. So now we're going to do that.
I think that's
and
a
like
good
there will be
conversation.
lots of people on the left who will be like, how dare you talk to this man? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not playing this game that you mean girls play.
Yes.
Where like, oh, you know what? You can't sit at my lunch table because I'm just not talking to you. Not talking to you, you lost the election. Who the do you think you have to talk to? You know, it's one thing if you win it.
Yeah.
It's another thing if you lose it.
You got to start talking to people.
Have to talk. And I see Gavin Newsom is doing this now. He's changed his tune. He's got a podcast, and the first guest was Charlie Kirk.
I thought that was,
I
thought that was brilliant.
He mentioned me. He said, like, I'm noticing what Bill does, talks to both sides, like is left leaning, but not afraid to criticize the people on his team. Like, we got to get more of this going. This has to become the center.
Anybody who believes that Gavin Newsom is moving towards the center is absolutely out of their mind. And I would look at Bill in the eye and say, you know that, right? He's not moving towards the center. He's taking a page from you. He's taking a page from you to engage the idea, not the reality. Only the doing would be able to prove the reality. Saying it, having Bannon on, that is not it. But how right is he that the left would be like, you can't go talk to him. You can't do that. Of course he should. The Bill Maher Donald Trump interview would be excellent. Excellent. And can I just state for the record, there was a whole thing with Trump being unhappy with Jackie Heinrich of Fox News. For, I guess, Heinrich was asking tough questions of the press secretary, and look at how Fox is going after Trump's agenda. I am old enough to remember that Trump said, the only thing I want is for the questions to be fair. I don't mind if they're tough. He's Trump. He can handle it. I don't want to see anybody in cable news or in any video or blogosphere somehow thinking you have to defend Trump from a tough question. From a gotcha nonsense question, you can go over that all you want. From a pressing question, good Lord. If you don't think Trump can handle that, you don't think Trump can be president. I think he can handle it. I think he can be president. Stop being so weak. And that's for the supporters, not for him. He can take it. It'd be a solid interview. But yeah, you go talk to people. You go talk to people. This is a good thing. But if there's a follow-up where he's on his show Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO, and he's talking about government regulation and his roof. Check this out.
Okay, so just to continue on this for a minute, because I just saw this is really bad news for Democrats. 2030 reapportionment, there's a group called the American Redistricting Project, and in 5 years we will be redistricting. California is projected to lose 3 seats, New York 2, also going to lose a seat, Minnesota, Oregon, Rhode Island, Illinois, all blue states. Who's getting these? Texas, Florida, Idaho, and Utah. I mean, this looks like game over.
First things first. Ain't that awesome? Oh, absolutely. You can't live in the places where you can't live. You got to move to places you can live. The problem is the people who move there try and make it like where they were from. They don't learn. But Bill Maher, and I say it wrong, right? He's learning. I don't think the guy's dumb at all. But that he's saying it is trying to get others to learn. Why is it that these people are leaving California and New York and going to these freer places?
And the reason why people are voting with their feet is a lot of what your book is about.
Yeah,
taxes and regulation. I certainly been screaming about it forever. I did 3 years with a sign here that said, how long is it going to take me to get my solar hooked up? 3 years. Talking about it on television in this state. You couldn't do it. This state has almost 400,000 regulations. I just put in a new roof because the fire, I thought, oh, let's get a roof that's not going to burn up. 2 inspections. Why are you inspecting my roof? It's my f***ing roof. If it falls on me, that's my problem. And we're taxed more than any other state. People are leaving these kind of states for places where they're not, they feel the heavy breath of government on them. It's
where they don't feel the heavy breath of government on them. Oh, that's a quotable statement right there. 1,000%. It's why they leave. It's why people come to America, which is why it is so offensive that people come to America and somehow decide that America is awful and bigoted and racist and want to make it like where they come from. It's why the very concept of hyphenization is so terrible. You're not a Mexican American. You're not an Israeli American. You're not a Spanish American. You're not a French American. You're an American if you're an American. No more hyphenization. You're here, and it's better. Bill Maher is learning in real time. Maybe I should say it better than that. Bill Maher is teaching in real time. That in order to understand people, you got to talk to them, even if you disagree. That we're better off talking because that's what creates the civil society. Not yelling. I had to learn that. Talking. Talking is good. Hearing other points of view is valuable. Now, I agree. There are some things that I would never share on air. I don't need to talk to the Hamas supporter. I don't need to talk to the communist. The president of the United States? Yeah, you do that one. And people do not want the heavy breath of government on them. They don't want to be sniffed by Joe Biden. They want to live free. They want to move at their own pace. And they don't want to be told by their government that somehow they're the problem. And they will leave all that beautiful weather behind to find greener pastures. I did. I would love to talk to Bill Maher. I would invite him out here. I would set up the event. I'll pay for the flight. I'll pay for the hotel. I don't think I can afford your fee, Bill, but I'll take care of the rest. I'll do what I can. Right? I don't have a weed guy, but I know I can get the gummies. I know I can. So one way or another, it's a conversation I'd love to have. And good on you for saying so to your audience. Good on you for doing it. And if the interview is not, or the conversation is not publicized or televised, that's fine. I hope you'll tell us some parts of it. Love to hear how that went. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. All right. So now the whole thing is a car conversation in the chat. Just the whole thing, guys. Guys, for those of you who just entered the chat, I apologize. I apologize for that. Wait, what in the whoa, hold up. Hold up. I don't know. Can I do this? Can I share this? Well, first I gotta see it. Hold on. I gotta download it. Let's see if it now infects my whole computer. Hold on. I open this with. Well, I'm checking something. Someone sent me something. Oh, no way. Ho, ho, ho. Is that an Amazon driver? Trust me. I gotta get approval. Oh. If I get it quick, I will bring it to you. Holy moly. Let me see if I can get this up. Now, let me ask you. Someone sends me a video. You got to, like, Tony, you got to see this. I could share that, right? Like, they're sharing it with me so I can do something with it. Do I have to get their approval? It was unsolicitedly. It was sent to me without solicitation. Am I allowed to share that? Okay. Oh, who wants to make some news? We can ruin someone's day today, and they're going to deserve it. I'm hoping to get a response. There was a phone number I would call. Holy mackerel. Come on. We've got 60 seconds. Before the radio show. I am hoping they come back and say yes, because it's something. Right? Sarah says I can show it. I think I'm just going to show it. Let me look at it again and make sure it doesn't show anything from the owner. Nope, it doesn't have their name or anything else. Oh, I'm totally showing it. I'm doing it. We'll do it live. That's right, Landon. Yeah, I'm showing it. I won't use any names. Okay, I'm doing it. I only have a couple minutes, but I'm doing it. I am always very cautious when people send me things. Am I allowed to use this on air? Am I allowed to quote you? I think it's the right thing to do. Just now, I was sent a video. Someone's doorbell camera. Tony Katz today. Great to be with you. I'm going to assume that since it was sent to me, that I can share it. They're asking me to take a look at the video. What is the video of? The video is of a delivery driver. They say where the delivery driver is from. I want to just triple check. But they're taking a photo of the front door, I guess, to prove that they dropped off the package. And through the doorbell camera, you could see this person. See, now I got to ask, because it's a video of a person. Do I have to blur out the person? It's somebody's video. It's somebody's doorbell camera. I'm assuming it can be shared. I don't have to blur them out. Here's what happens. I'm going to describe to you the video. The video shows this delivery driver taking a picture of the front door. Next to them is a sign that is the of the homeowners and the sign that says, "We stand with Israel." See the Star of David right there. The delivery driver, after taking the photo, picks up the sign, tosses it to the ground. So takes it out of the ground, tosses it to the ground, and walks away. What is this? Who is the driver? What company do they work for? Because I don't know who is engaged in the delivery. I may have to blur it out a little. I am going to hold off so I can blur it out a little, and then I will share it and we'll go over it tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. You're pulling up people's signs? Yeah, you couldn't just drop off the package and walk. You had to what? Oh, and to hell with Israel. I'm pretty sure you get fired for that. Pretty sure you should get fired for that. I'm going to hold off. Oh, I want to show it. But I'm going to just hold off. Make sure I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's. I'll bring it to you. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today. Now, guys, you'll forgive me because I do have to run from the live stream. I will have it tomorrow. We'll go over it. I'll make sure I've got myself double checked. We will blur out the face if we need to, and then we'll immediately get that video out and posted, and then we will share it on the show tomorrow. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. Safe and sorry, people. In a litigious society, absolutely. That guy is wrong, yet somehow I'm gonna get sued. So appreciate you guys being here as always. And don't forget tickets.tonykatz.com. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Trump and American Reset in 3 bourbons: the bourbon, the food, the cigars. I'll look back at the first 100 days. It's going to be outstanding. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets. Come be a part of the event. I want to see you there. Absolutely want to do it. Absolutely want to do it. Is it already on Newsweek? No, it's not. Hold on. I'm on Newsweek. I don't see it on Newsweek's site. Where is it on Newsweek's site? Somebody in the comments said that it was on. It's on Newsweek's website. If I see it, we'll do it. Right? But we'll go over it right now. We will figure it out and we'll get it to you. Guys, I appreciate you. I will catch you all tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Take care.